Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from Oceanside, California, our host hotel, the beautiful Mission Pacific. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by MasterSpas, as fuels go longer, HOKA Let's Fly, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Premium Plus Sports, and of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, balancing two worlds, 70.3 PTO, but more importantly, hopefully, going to the Olympics in Paris in 2024. Matt McElroy joins us. Matt, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. How are you, Bob?
I am wonderful. So training up in Flagstaff.
Yeah.
You're liking the altitude?
Yeah. I went to college there and graduated, years ago. 2014 I graduated from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So take me back to when you got into this sport. Was your background more running background, swim background?
Yeah. I guess the running was how I started with athletics.
Yeah.
Ran in high school, ran in middle school, even to go back.
Wow.
I ran in high school. I was second at Foot Locker. I was second at the California State meet.
You were second at Foot Locker. How
Yeah.
did we not meet back then?
Yeah.
I love Foot Locker's like my favorite thing.
Lucas Frisbicus. So
I represented Lucas.
Yep, that's true. That's right. And then
you finished second to Lucas.
Yep.
Now, did you race him? Did you race there once or just?
I raced there once, and then I raced NXN.
Okay,
the year
following
before.
year.
But
yeah,
I heard about Lucas my senior year, and my coach at the time was like, "Hey, this is a triathlete. You might consider doing some cross training."
Yeah.
And so I actually started doing triathlon training then, just because he was dominating everyone. I mean, he was the most dominant high school runner maybe ever.
Yeah, and the cool part was it was coming off of triathlon training.
Yeah.
It's
so
like
I started doing that.
He was sort of coaching himself, or his dad was coaching him. So yeah.
So I started trying to do triathlon training. I started swimming and biking.
Where were you living?
In Huntington Beach.
Okay.
Where I grew up. Yeah. And then I got absolutely smoked by him at Foot Locker. So
you still got second.
Still got second. Yeah.
Yeah. But Lucas was in a different world, man. He was a very special athlete.
Yeah.
But you learned from that, right? And so after, where'd you end up going to college? Oh,
I went to Flagstaff, Northern Arizona, and I watched a lot of like triathlons. I did one when I was about 14 years old.
Yeah.
Had like a crazy 5K. I think 14 years old, I ran like 15:30 off the bike. So I knew I wanted to do triathlon eventually. It was either professional running or triathlon.
Yes.
And then went to NAU, got injured a bunch, stress fractures, and then I started swimming and really considering doing triathlon.
Yes.
And that's when, by the time I graduated, I figured, after 3 All-Americans, it was decent, but I didn't have this like great pedigree of like, I'm going to get a contract immediately after college.
Right. You're going to have to earn that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go to triathlon. And that's when I moved to San Diego.
And were you part of, out of college, out of the recruitment program or out of Barb Lindquist type of thing?
So Barb did recruit me, but honestly, on paper, it made more sense to go train with the international group. So I just went and trained with Joe Malloy, Greg Billington, Paulo Sousa.
With Paulo.
Yeah.
The Pauwegians?
Yeah, and Poway. Yeah.
I mean, that was a great program. Look at it.
Yeah.
A number of guys went to the freaking Olympics.
Yeah. And that's what made sense. I feel like the college recruitment for the men, it wasn't producing that many athletes.
No, it still had.
Where if Poway, I was like, okay, I can move to San Diego, and all these guys are potentially going to make the Olympic team.
Yes, they are. Yeah. And they're all. Joe made Billington. It was the right place to go. Mm-hmm. And in terms of moving forward, then you start racing WTS, WCTS, whatever the hell they call it now.
Yeah. I think I got on the national team probably after a year of racing, hit a couple World Cup podiums, and then, man, it's been 7 years on the national team as of this year. So I've been racing ITU since 2015.
Yes.
And it's been a lot of fun. I mean, it's completely different to running.
Oh, totally. When you were talking about Olympics for 2024, but the goal was 2020, a lot of injuries leading in?
Yeah, I felt like almost every year, probably every 6 months, I would still get injured. Not until last year, it was the first year I've ever put together a full season where I was healthy.
Yes.
And it was pretty successful. I was pretty happy with the overall results.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at 2022, you did Yokohama 13th, Leeds 16th. Then you mix in the Canadian Open, and when you talk a 14th at the Canadian Open, that's a world championship event.
Yeah.
With the level of pro, I mean, you probably win more getting 14th than most races when you win overall. Right,
Yeah.
that's big dollars. And then the Indian Wells, you jumped in there. That was your first 70.3, and you get fifth there. So, and 113 off the bike. You can go better than that, but
Yeah.
that still shows that you're there. Right?
Yeah.
What did you come away with after that one?
Well, yeah, I raced in Abu Dhabi the week before, so.
And got 10th there at Abu Dhabi, right?
Yeah, I was 10th. I put on the wrong pair of shoes coming off the bike, so I had to take those off and then put on my shoes and re-rack my bike.
Did you put somebody else's shoes on?
Yeah, like all those A6 shoes are all like the same color.
Yes.
And I racked it, and I put on someone else's shoes. Then I had to re-rack my bike, put on other shoes. So I probably should have been like 7th or 6th based on my run split, but my T2 was garbage.
What was your run split?
I think I was low. No, I was low 30. I think I was like 30.06.
It's amazing to me how fast those races are now. Those guys are running 29s like it's no big deal.
Yeah, it's the level is crazy, especially like the French have been so dominant right now.
Yeah.
I think between me, Morgan Pearson, some of the American guys, we want to really, take on the French and start beating them. I think we want to kind of change,
right?
American ITU racing, and
how do you do
we're
that?
Stepping it up. I just think, right now I think we have the talent between me, Morgan, Kevin, and Seth. I mean, we've put together some pretty good results. Like I've had a WTS podium. Last year I had, I had like a ton of World Cup podiums. I had a World Cup win. And then this last race in Abu Dhabi, I was 8th. I was right behind the French.
Oh, you 8th in Abu Dhabi?
I was 8th in Abu Dhabi.
Oh,
so that was my last race.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I prepared very well for that. Like I just had a kid. So now I'm a dad. And that just comes along with like a lot of stress.
Right.
So I feel like everything is starting to come together for all the U.S. men in terms of like getting experience and just like the culture around the ITU racing. It really takes the team culture to really step up and sort of start beating those other countries like the French or Spain.
Right. It's fascinating because you think about, Gwen and Katie and Summer, they all came from, they were collegiate runners with background in swimming. And immediately Gwen gets involved in 2010, and by 12 she's on the Olympic team. 16 she wins a gold medal and is the best in the world. Katie comes from steeplechase, makes a team in 2016, and medals bronze and silver in 2020. On the men's side, when you're trying to compete back in the day with Javier Gomez and Alistair Brownlee, and they get into the sport when they're 8, you can't get into it out of college and try to compete with those guys. I don't think you've got to be into it younger, don't you think?
I would say it's easier, but I think that for guys like, I'm just going to use me and Morgan as an example. You really have to defy the odds. I use that term a lot. Is like if you take 1 million people, 1 million kids, and you try to make them into triathletes late in life, it's just really, really tough. But I think we have a couple good eggs to like win some medals and be in contention come Paris.
And obviously that's the goal. Paris is the goal for you for right now. And what do you gain from doing the longer distance races, like going to Indian Wells and coming here to Oceanside?
Yeah, I mean, eventually I want to move up to doing Ironman full time. Mm-hmm. I think after Paris, I'll dabble with a bit of short course racing, but mainly focus on races like Kona.
Right.
And, coming back here every year. I mean, Huntington Beach is like not too far. It's an hour drive.
Yeah.
So I just came from my parents today. It's like you can race in North America, you can race in South America, and I think it's not as hard to travel around the world. So you could like having a family.
Right.
It makes sense to like eventually move up to long course and be competitive and kind of follow the path of like guys like Ben Canute.
How is it How has it changed? You've been in the sport for a while now. And we've seen the speeds ratcheted up, both sides, for longer distance and short distance. How has it changed in terms of you keeping up with what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I can speak on behalf of like short course.
Yes.
I would say all three have increased in terms of speed. Like when I first started, I could get a World Cup podium, and I was swimming, like 105 pace in the pool for yards, and now you have to be like, even to make a pack, first or second, you have to be swimming 59, 58 pace for repetitions in the pool. Same on the bike. The bike power, I've noticed, is well over like 340 watts for an hour, which used to not be the case. I feel like a lot of people would look at ITU and be like, oh, they're just sitting in the pack. Not anymore. It's completely changed, and the Norwegians completely changed that. I feel like in 2017, like Christian and Gustav being in the field, every level, and then the run's gotten so fast. Alex Yee, Hayden Wild, yes. It seems like every race they're breaking 29 minutes. So,
do you see? It's interesting because now we have Gustav and Christian going back to the shorter distance, and we see people step up. You go from, like yourself, you go from short to long. You bring your speed, and it's a little longer. Going from long to short, and these guys are two of the most freakish athletes I've ever seen. But I remember when back in the day, Chris McCormick decided after winning Ironman, I'm going to come back try to make 2012 Olympic team, and he was running 30-30 off the bike and finishing 40th. And he said, I can't play in the sandbox anymore. I don't think Alex Yee and these guys are going, oh my God, Gustav and Christian are coming back.
Not right now. At the moment, I would say based on their last two or three performances, I would say they're not a huge threat, but
they've got another year.
They've got another year, and those guys have done. I mean, Christian on paper, right? He's the greatest of all time in triathlon.
Really?
I would argue that, right? Just based on the last. I mean, in terms of like
the greatest season in terms of winning. winning the 70.3 Worlds and St. George
and Olympic gold medal.
Yeah, well, Olympic gold the year before that.
Yeah. So maybe the best season. But I wouldn't put it past them that Christian's going to be back, and Gustav. Yeah, I think their coaching and everything they have is so
their
dialed
technology,
in.
Yes,
they're just ahead of the game.
So this season for you, what will you be racing?
This season, I'll go to Yokohama after this. Then I'll race in Italy. So I'll go from Japan to Italy and race 2 weeks after. And my focus this year is mainly just WTS racing, and then I'd like to do some long course races at the end of the year.
Okay.
But I think this is going to be the first time I've ever dedicated the entire year to a WTS season in terms of not racing World Cups or Conti Cups, chasing points. Like right now, I'm eighth place in Olympic ranking, so I really don't have to go chasing points for the Olympics. I'm pretty much in that top 10.
Okay,
I'm set.
And then Paris is the qualifier, right?
Yeah.
And you obviously that's
the main focus this entire year.
Yeah, is go to Paris, get your spot, and then you're able to just do whatever the hell you want. That would be very cool. Mm-hmm. So you're feeling good about where the American men are right now?
I'm really confident. Maybe it doesn't look like that on paper right now, but in the ability that the top 4 guys have right now, it's insane.
And you guys train together at all?
No.
Everybody's independent.
Everyone's independent.
Do you need to? Because you see Christian and Gustav and those guys always train together. So I would steel sharpens steel.
I would say Christian and Gustav's dynamic, like their personalities, really mesh well together.
Yeah,
they talk about that a lot, and so they can handle it. I think you
guys would kill each other.
I think we would. I think we have killed each other. I've done a training camp with Morgan, and we absolutely destroyed each other. And I ended up getting really hurt, getting knee surgery. So it didn't work in the past. Now I train by myself. And it's better being a dad. Like, I don't have to wait on anyone. I can either sleep in or I can wake up early and get the job done. You know?
Right. Yeah. For 2020, obviously it was delayed a year. Did that hurt you? Help you in terms of the Olympics being delayed a year?
Yeah, absolutely hurt me.
It hurt you.
It changed everything.
If it was 2020, you would have been on the team.
I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, like, what happened, but I'm going to say that, like, 2019 was the best year I ever had. That was, like, my real breakthrough season. Second at Leeds, WTS, 3 World Cup podiums. Like, I felt pretty confident. And I got back to that, like, that place last year where I started winning World Cups, and I started, like, getting close to that top 10 at a WTS, but then finally got it at the grand final, even with the shoe issue.
Yeah, I mean, getting 8th at a grand final is pretty special.
10th, but yeah, 8th in Abu Dhabi. There's a lot of racing going on.
Wait a second. So, 10th, where was the grand final at? Wasn't it Abu Dhabi?
So we had 2 races in Abu Dhabi in 3 months.
Okay, so one you were 8th and one you were 10th.
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm like, wait a second. So in the grand final you were
10th.
10th.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
That's what I said. Okay, and then you said I'm 8th. Okay, you guys, man, drive me crazy. All these different races.
It drives me crazy.
There's a lot, and then it's all the WTS, and I don't know. There's a lot of confusion out there. Now, have you done some Super League as well?
I haven't done any Super League.
Okay, and that obviously not with this year. This year's all about Paris.
Yeah, I could see myself doing Super League. Like, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I like the format. I do like we have this race in Montreal coming up this year. It's kind of a similar format where you have multiple rounds, and it's like process of elimination.
Eliminator. Yeah.
You got to finish in the top 15 or 20, and each round you have to make it to the final.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that I think they're talking about that potentially as another Olympic format down the line.
That would be awesome.
Right?
That would be so cool.
Do you like the mixed relay as well?
I love it. Yeah. It's great. The energy is just amazing. Like, I don't know, racing as a team brings me back to, like, cross country.
Yeah, absolutely.
In college.
Yeah. And could you watch the Olympics in 2020, 2021, whatever they called it?
Yeah, I was in Tokyo as an alternate.
Okay, an alternate. Basically, if somebody lost a body part, maybe they
got sick, or
if they got sick, they're racing anyways. Come on,
right?
You know that. If you lose a body part, you'll duct tape it on. You're not dropping. Oh, I'll drop out of the Olympics. I'll wait 4 years.
Yeah,
you're going to the start line.
But the relay, I mean, someone could race the individual and then get hurt, and then they could sub someone in for the relay. So it's a possibility.
So you could go there and you really couldn't enjoy yourself because you sort of have to be at the ready.
Yeah, and like it was the middle of COVID, so we're kind of like I was stuck in a hotel the whole time.
Yes. Yeah, not fun.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. And then what happened was we were living in Boulder at the time, and the day I got home from that, I moved straight to Flagstaff, back to Flagstaff after not living there for like 8 years. Me and my wife and my son live there now.
Good for you, man. And so, but you were able to watch the race and no gut feeling in your gut, like, man, I should be out there?
No, I mean, I was rooting on, like, guys, like Kevin crushed the individual race. He did so well.
What did he get, 6th?
He was 7th.
7th. Okay.
And Morgan overcooked himself
going
into it. But then the relay.
Rick's relay, they're silver.
Like, there's, as much as I feel like I should have been there, it's hard not to want, like, USA to do well.
Of course.
So I was.
And these are your friends.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're like, sport's not going to last forever. So I want them to genuinely do well.
Right, but at the same time, you want to kick their ass on race day.
Exactly.
Matt, I always enjoy chatting with you, bud. You're always such a treat. What are your goals out here?
Goal out here. So I feel like I'm
touring?
just getting dialed in to the TT bike. Yeah, touring. I want to be up front. I'm planning to like swim and bike up front, and we'll see if I can put it all together. But I spent the time at the beginning of the year to really like dial in the TT bike.
Yeah.
Worked with my bike fitter, got a new TT bike, and just getting really comfortable with that the last couple months.
Because it became a selection, right, for 2020 Olympic team. Who calls you, and how do they explain, okay, you're not on the team?
Yeah, one of the high performance directors called me, the main high performance director, and I had my coach, my wife in the room, and he was just like, "Hey, Matt, I got bad news. Like, you're not going." And like, I'm waiting all week for this call, right? And I'm asking people, what do I expect? Like, am I going to get picked? Everyone was like, yeah, you're going to get picked, which was terrible for me to hear because I was like, there's no way I'm not getting picked.
Right.
And then when I didn't, it, man, my heart sunk. Like, I wasn't crying initially, the people around me were crying.
Hysterical.
They were hurting. I think it hurt more people in my corner
Right.
than it hurt me. My chest was kind of like in pain for a couple weeks.
Yes.
But man, this time around, I think that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Just because I moved from Flagstaff, started training by myself, falling in love with training now. Like, I love training way more being by myself than I ever have with any group. Just because, I don't know, being by yourself, being in solitude in the mountains, and just like it's something super special just about being in your own mind and learning more about myself as I get older. So that decision, it really hurt, but it changed our lives.
It lit a fire.
Yeah, for
Big
sure.
time.
And I'm not going to let any phone call dictate what my future is going to be like. Now I'm going to take control of
Exactly.
the situation.
Yeah, you don't want anybody.
No, I'm not going to leave it down to a phone call.
No. Good for you, man. And I mean, I can understand the reaction, your reaction. These are your friends.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for you to be too pissed that something good happened to your friends.
Yeah.
Where the family, they care about you. They don't.
Yeah.
Those other guys are just, who cares about those guys?
Yeah.
So they could show their raw emotion where you're sort of, listen, you want to make the team. You felt like you deserved to be on the team. Now, how did they rationalize it? Did they?
Who?
The guy on the phone. So what does he say? He says,
they get a lawyer involved, and then
Oh, they
just
have
to
a
make
lawyer
sure
for
they
it.
back themselves up, because I was like, why did I get picked? And honestly, that doesn't matter like why they made the decision.
Right.
The U.S. won a medal in the mixed team relay.
Yep. Katie got a medal.
Katie got a medal. They did awesome. And all that matters at the end of the day for high performance teams is like winning medals.
Right.
That's how we get funding. That's how I get paid. It's a win-win situation, So it all worked out.
If you make that Olympic team, are you still thinking about Paris? Or at that point, are you, okay, it's time to go longer? Long distance.
No, if I don't.
No, if you would say you had made the Olympic team and you were Kevin and you took
Yeah.
seventh.
No, I still would have done Paris for
You
sure.
still- yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I love it. Thanks, man. It's going to be fun watching you race Paris, and
Yeah.
you better freaking learn the language, because it's not going to be a phone call this time.
No.
You're not going to
won't.
leave it to that ever again.
Nope.
I love it. Matt, thanks, bud, for spending some time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And good luck out there on Saturday.
Thank you.
It's always nice when you do something like this. You're playing with house money. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, how you do in a race like this when Paris is what matters.
Yeah.
This is
it's just for fun.
It's a catered workout. It's
Yep.
just for fun. I love it. Matt McElroy has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob, our host hotel, the beautiful Mission Pacific. Hold on. We will be right back.